during the last episode and this episode, we tried a shot of what was it?
Devil's
shot
River
over there at the table.
Yes.
What was it?
Devil's River.
Devil's River. What can you tell us about that?
Texas bourbon. Actually, it's a 90 proof small patch bourbon out of, I think it's somewhere near San Antonio, but it's really smooth on the palate. Good bourbon, just not super pricey.
Yeah, you
Can't
said for the
find
price,
it
it's
everywhere.
not bad at
it's
all.
Like a $20 bourbon. It tastes like a $35, $40 bourbon.
It was good. It was definitely not disappointing.
And smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
Had a nice, creamy, sweet flavor to it.
And you don't usually think of Texas for bourbons.
Yeah,
No, I was very
yeah.
surprised. Good stuff.
I got to pause right here, and I just got to point out, growing up, I remember seeing the commercials on the TV all the time with Smokey the Bear, and, only you can prevent...
I saw it!
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan here is wearing a T-shirt that has Smokey the Bear, and it says...
Hey, you got to channel your inner Sam Elliott to say, like, only you can go fuck yourself.
Fantastic.
It's so good.
And this episode, we're going to be trying the Redbreast 12-year-old single pot still Irish whiskey. Retails for about $65. 40% alcohol, so that makes it 80 proof. It's a 12-year-old whiskey. What can you tell us about it, Wayne?
It's fantastic. Enough said. This was another one that came at a recommendation from a good friend, coworker of mine. He has tried a lot of different ones, and he recommended this. Actually, one day at work, we were talking about whiskeys, and he had a bottle of this sitting in his lower drawer at his desk at work. And so anyway, I got an opportunity to pick up a bottle, and so I decided to try it. And, we've talked about, and I've read, and you hear about, the 12 years is kind of a magic number for whatever reason in the aging process. I think when we were talking about the scotches and the Glenfiddich that we talked about, you said that, you'd had the 12 and the 15, but you really, really liked the 12.
Yeah, the 15 for the extra money, it didn't really seem like that big of a deal to spend the extra money to get the 15.
But 12 seems to be a world smoother flavor than a lot of your 8s or even, your 4 or 6, which a lot of your big name brands, you don't even get the 8 years.
Yeah, it's like 3 to 6.
Yeah. This being a 12 year, it's aged a lot longer and it just has a really great smooth flavor to it. Some of the tasting notes on there, it's mahogany in color.
Yeah, I was just looking at it here in the light. It did not look mahogany to me. I thought mahogany was a dark wood. This is like...
Yeah, I would agree.
Honey.
I think that's a little misleading. I would say honey, maybe a hint of an amber.
And the smell, what are you guys pulling off?
This is another one that is a single pot still on that. I'm pulling some of that sweet sherry.
It's always right off the bat, it's sweet.
Yeah. In the tasting notes, it lists cake and cream soda.
Now, as a fat kid myself, I really enjoy cake. I love it.
I'm definitely getting the vanilla on it, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of vanilla in this. And I feel like typically you don't get a lot of vanilla from your Irish whiskeys.
Right. Are these aged in sherry? Did you say that already?
I think it might be.
Smells great. I'm going to get a pull.
And toffee.
There's definitely a toffee on the palate on this one.
What's this last word down here? Treacle?
Treacle?
I gotta bring it up closer to my face. Yeah, Treacle.
Might have to hit.
Get my friggin' thesaurus. What the hell's treacle?
Right.
I have no idea.
What is this? Bust out the dictionary.
It definitely has a lot longer finish to it.
Brazil nuts. I don't know if I got Brazil nuts off that.
I definitely did not.
No. Okay.
What was it that we tasted the other day?
Now maybe it's power suggestion. I taste it.
We tasted something the other day that peanuts.
Yeah, peanut brittle.
Peanut brittle was part of that, and
Then I went home and demolished a can of peanut brittle.
Nice.
Somebody gave me some moonshine peanut brittle, whatever it was, and for Christmas, and I just kind of side-eyeing it because I'm not a huge fan of peanut brittle. But when I got home, I tried some of it. Then I tried a little bit more. Then a little bit more. Then a little bit more. Next thing I know, my girlfriend's calling me a fat ass, and I need to put down the butter brickle.
Buttery.
The peanut brittle. Whatever the fuck it's called. Damn whiskeys get my words mixed up. Wilford's looking at me. He's checking me out. But yeah, according to Google, it's pronounced treacle. A thick, sticky, dark syrup made from partly refined sugar and molasses.
All right.
The more you know.
Sounds a lot like your butter brickle.
Mm-hmm.
Brickle butter. What's it called? Peanut butter brickle?
Peanut butter brickle batter. Damn near killed it.
What do we think of this one?
I think it's great on the nose.
This is
and
awesome.
It's smoother, I think, than the...
I just want to pour it into a glass and make love to it. Actually, it's really good. It's quite tasty.
Well, it is an Irish whiskey.
Yes.
So I'm sure you can figure out how to sweet talk it.
That's...
Or fight it.
Right. Maybe that's part of the sweet talking process.
Are we fucking or are we fighting? Choice is yours. We're doing both before it's over.
Either we're fucking or I'm fucking. Yeah, it's good on the nose and it's good on the palate as well. It says here in the show notes here, the Irish champ. It says here, Redbreast Single Pot Still Irish Whiskey. This 12-year-old is one of the 2 whiskeys on the market that are 100% single pot still Irish whiskeys. And this, the process of making whiskey in a copper pot still, which I prefer, from both malted and unmalted barley, that makes the Redbreast unique. Moreover, no grain whiskey is added to the 12-year-old. It's highly regarded as one of the best, if not the best, Irish whiskeys by notable critics and laymen alike. Are we notable critics or are we laymen?
I think I need a second opinion. I might need to try again. I'm not sure. My critic or layman. Because that was absolutely friggin' delicious. Just a short pour. Don't want to empty your bottle there.
Oh, that's partially why I brought them, so...
Well, then keep going.
If they empty, they empty.
I'm giving you a hard time. This is great.
All right.
This may be the new standard.
What I think is fantastic about whiskeys and getting into this is the diversity that you find. I have bottles in my cabinet that I enjoy by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't even occur to me to mix them with anything.
Right.
And then I have those other bottles that they're okay at best by themselves,
Right.
but they're really fantastic when you bring them to life in a cocktail.
And I absolutely love drinking neat. This is by far my first and foremost go-to. I will mix a cocktail, and it's exactly what you just said. It's usually with what I consider to be a lesser bourbon or Irish or whatever cocktail you're making. It's usually a little bit less of a quality ingredient. But no, this is absolutely outstanding, and what a delicious. Oh my gosh, this is by far. I would have to agree. This is so to given date. This is the best Irish whiskey I think I've tasted. And put a price tag on this if you don't mind, just an average, because trying to figure out $65 bottle of Irish whiskey, and this is absolutely fucking fantastic.
So,
sorry, I didn't ask before. Are we doing radio edits on this, or am I okay to say drop F-bombs?
Oh,
There's no FCC regulations on this
We're
podcast,
good.
as far as I know.
yep.
So
Sweet.
we should be good.
Because I was speaking very freely.
Yeah, I think the only things that we try to stay away from as far as show topics go, or topics of discussions, are what is it? Politics, religion, and professional wrestling.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
So I'm sure you've heard those 3 things mentioned on Johnny Dare.
Well, hang on. I got one out of 2 so far.
Even though he talks about
I'm going to
all.
go for the trifecta before we're over.
All right, how do you feel about Jerry Lawler?
Is that wrestling?
Yes. See, like in the South, they say you got 3 kings. You got Elvis Presley, you got Jesus Christ, and you got Jerry Lawler.
I guess I missed that one.
All right.
I missed Lawler. I don't know.
All right.
All right. So who the fuck is Jerry Lawler?
He's a wrestler. They call him the King.
The King. Okay. Not
to be confused with the King NASCAR Richard Petty.
So growing up local here, the King around here back when I was, would have been Bulldog Bob Brown.
Okay. Okay.
So
back
that's
when
my wrestling era.
They did wrestling down at
Memorial.
WDAF.
Oh yeah, the old
Like-
school shit.
Yeah.
When they still had razor blades in the corners.
Man.
And they would slam those guys in the corners, and they would grab a razor blade and they would actually cut themselves to get the blood going down their face, just to make it look, and then slam each other with fold-up chairs.
Right.
Oh man,
Not these heat-treated fold-up, like bendable, super bendable fold-up chairs.
yeah.
Look at us talking about things that we said we wouldn't talk about.
Here we are. We got two. That's 2 out of 3, baby. Now we just got it. Now we're just gonna have to move it over to the political arena.
Wrestling.
All right,
So
we got politics left.
all fucked up in the head.
And we're doing this podcast today live in front of a studio audience. So any interjection that you hear is from outside commentary.
And who is this lovely outside commentary do we have here? What is
Stephanie,
the lovely Stephanie?
the Stefani.
That sounds exotic. Where'd you find her?
Stefani? Her nickname is Half Pint.
Right, maybe we'll add domestic disputes to the list of things we don't bring up.
That's right. We met in court one time, honey. I swear to God. I was there with another woman, but I knew I only had eyes for you. That's what the judge said. I couldn't see her no more.
Before this ends up on Jerry Springer, let's ask W2 over here what he thinks of the Redbreast, the 12-year-old single pot Irish whiskey. Because Mitch has already said it's the new standard.
Oh
for
my
him.
God.
Did you pause on breast?
Yeah, right. But he was talking about women, and all I could think about is breasts.
I think it's fantastic. I love this Irish whiskey. It's become easily one of my favorite ones.
And it's $65 for a retail. You know, it doesn't seem like it's not that far out of reach. Say like Two Gingers or what are some of the other popular Irish whiskey brands out there? There are no other popular.
You know, I almost actually brought Two Gingers today because I've had that a few times. And there's so many different levels to just that specific whiskey. Not unlike Jameson or Redbreast or anything else.
They have a
'cause
wine product.
Oh, yeah. I looked at some of the Redbreast that, you know, is well over $100 bottle. And depending on the year and the age and what have you. But, yeah, the Two Gingers is... that's definitely a solid one as well. And then there's Writer's Tears. I think we had that one day. And I saw that was another one of those, which I'm not trying to advocate another whiskey, which we're not going to do here today. But it's just amazing, depending on what you're looking at a $65 whiskey and $120 whiskey.
Well, you brought over. We didn't try it, but you brought over. Was it?
Proper
12.
Proper 12. I don't know if I brought it over, but you're not a fan of it?
No.
No?
Depends on, maybe I haven't had a good one, but that has not been one of my favorite Irish whiskeys.
I remember
at all.
not really knowing a whole lot about Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, because I tapped out of UFC kind of stuff around the time that the Gracies entered the scene and started putting everybody to sleep, pulling them apart and making them all tap out, which is a feat in and of itself. This one, the Proper 12, is from Ewan McGregor.
Wrong McGregor.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, Conor McGregor. And, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good one. But,
entry level bottle or like higher up?
just the entry level. Because when I was introduced to Proper 12, there was only one bottle in the product line.
Okay.
Much like the Slipknot whiskey that we talked about, the number 9. And now there's 4 of them I think we talked about.
Clown's been busy.
Yes, he's a busy boy.
Yeah, maybe I need to review Proper 12 again, but I just it didn't hit my palate that well. So it's just personal. Everybody and different tastes.
Yeah, exactly.
Different strokes, different folks.
Right.
Me personally, not a fan of Bushnell.
Bushnell. What about Tullamore Dew?
I think Tullamore Dew is a solid Irish whiskey. And actually, I've got an empty bottle of Bushnell there, original Irish whiskey. I would not rate it high on the list, but I would rate it as palatable because I've had a few that are not. Finnegan's.
First time I had Tullamore Dew, it was suggested to me by Chad Ruddle. If you know him, he's the deaf guy in the music scene here in the Kansas City area, and he recommended that highly. it was like his favorite Irish whiskey. And then when I tried it, I was surprised that I had never even heard of it before. And it quickly replaced Jameson as the standard as far as Irish whiskey goes. But what you had said, this Redbreast 12-year-old Irish whiskey, it kind of is the new standard. I mean, nothing against Tullamore Dew, nothing against Jameson Irish whiskey, but this stuff's a whole nother level.
I absolutely agree, and I love me some Tullamore Dew.
Tullamore Dew is absolutely fine.
This opens up a whole new door.
It says on here that single malt whiskeys are generally distilled twice, whereas single pot still whiskeys more often than not distilled 3 times. And we talked about this one is triple distilled, like the Green Spot.
Somehow this one's smoother, and the Green Spot was smooth too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said that in the last episode, but it was definitely really smooth.
Yep.
I'd say smoother than Tullamore Dew or Jameson.
And I would say with this one, it being a 12-year definitely plays into that smoothness.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I would definitely recommend this one. Highly recommendable. 10 out of 10. Would try again. 3 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't change a thing. Hashtag Hail Nimrod. Well, that's all we got for this episode of Savor the Burn. Please check us out on all streaming services, anywhere you listen to all your popular podcast apps. Check us out there. If you want to contact us, reach out info@savortheburn.com. If you want to reach Wayne at W2 at savortheburn.com. You can reach me, Jonathan, at savortheburn.com as well. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Mitch, for hosting us in your house with your beautiful dogs. And savor that burn.